All right, good morning, YouTube. We're live on the air. Although this morning I'm kind of at a loss. I don't have a lot of pre-selected stuff. I got some notes, but actually the articles for the stuff I wanted to talk about seem to be missing or have been pushed down the list. We'll have to take a look for them. But hope everybody's doing good. What are we on? Thursday. It's Thursday, right? It is Thursday. So almost done with this week. And hopefully we can make it through till tomorrow. It'll be all good. But first headline of the day, jobless claims are at a 45-year low, popped up. Didn't know job reports were due. It's not even over on the CNN and BC side. Let's check it out, what it's all about. So it's an overall story of the revised January numbers, maybe? So it's an analysis and review of the full. So on the trending job claim numbers being down, which is still not a completely accurate number because people do drop off of unemployment. So the other number, which I'm sure we'll see competing articles about, maybe, if people are doing their due diligence, might show something different. But hey, if you're trying to find a job, they are getting scarce. Things are filling up. So total continuing claims of unemployment benefits dropped 33,000 to 1.92 million. So 1.92 million people are collecting unemployment benefits. Let me pause just a second. Sorry, I gotta be right back. Sorry about that. We're back. And going into the side chat, we got Broseph Russell with us. Good morning. And Barry Wood. Good morning out there in the Pacific Northwest. Broseph in the hot and dry high desert of California. Or at least I'm pretty sure you're as hot and dry as we are. Probably a little hotter with this almost summer-like weather we've been having. Hope everybody's doing good. Checking in with us this morning. Your Thursday finds you well with a cup of Joe in hand. I know I need some. So jobless claims are down. Everybody cheers kumbaya. waiting on an uptick in wages. As competition picks up, you would think wages would go up. We shall see. So that's some good news. Moving on over on the financial side, everything opens up higher. Wait. Dow slides 100. It just said opens up. Says how much of a 15-minute lag hurts. Thing changes on a dime. We'll see where it's at when it rolls back around later. So it opened up and it's down now, or it's down now and it opened up. I don't know. Shall see where that's at. A couple articles that were out yesterday that I didn't want to touch on, though, that we're going to have to dig for, I guess, because everything's cycled through. The Russians had infiltrated the voter system of several states, it said. I believe the number was up to 16 states' voter systems had been hacked. And it's not like somebody didn't tell them when they went to electronic voting machines to begin with that could be a problem. And I don't see it on here. I'll have to dig a little bit further, but it was out there yesterday. Hey, good morning, M. Long. Thanks for joining us. How you doing? Clear in 23 and there in middle Kentucky. Looks like y'all got more weather. Just keeps beating you guys up. I'm telling you, we'll take a little bit of that off your hands if you don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're desperate for some water. So here's some new articles. Just to be, we'll just go with the NBC News article just because it's off the top. See how off the rails this can get. So people have been warning about electronic voting systems for years, probably a decade. "21 states were targeted. One of the really bad things about this whole deal is reading between the lines here. What are you reading? I'm reading nationalization of elections, national standards, national mandatory type of equipment, centralizing this whole thing is the agenda they're going to start pushing on this deal. So instead of hacking a small number of the 21, they'll be completely successful because it'll all be one system. I can see a push for that. We were able to determine that the government, that the scanning and probing of voter registration databases was coming from the Russian government. No evidence that any of the registration rolls were altered in any fashion. It's not like they have legal voters half the time anyway. They push for undocumented voters, illegal voting, just voting based on your driver's license. They push for all kinds of stuff. Thanks for sharing him, Lon. I'm glad we can take a little bit of that pressure off of you. It would be nice. We shall see if we get anything here. That February is our do or die month. If we don't get anything in February, we're really in bad shape. 5 states, included Texas and California, said they were never attacked. People were saying so many states complained they didn't get specific threat details from the feds, saying that it was classified information and state officials didn't have clearances to get that info. Other states are saying they contacted. Other states said they're still waiting for cybersecurity help from the federal government. That's our problem. We're always waiting for help from the feds. So more to follow on that. I'm sure continue to push a nationalization agenda there, I think is what we need to be on the lookout for with those election deals there. Who else we got in here that can write a little bit different tweak on that information? There's an article about how the hacking was, people were warning about the hacking beforehand. Oh, no, wait. Someone did the same thing to climate scientists? Oh my goodness. Okay, Mother Jones. Don't get off the rails too much. Stay on topic here. See what kind of twist we have over on Fox. And really nothing in there. I didn't even mention the states looking out for help for cybersecurity support or anything like that. It talked about in the NBC article. All right. The Fox News kind of looks like the intelligence people are only talking NBC News exclusively, as they quote NBC News. So that's going on. Yay. Team. Go team, right? Weather-wise, more weather out east there. Out west. I wish we had weather out west. Out east, 2,000 miles of snow, they're calling it. A storm that's bringing weather across the country. And there's the current radar. It is going all the way across to here, at least right now. And I'd imagine this is going to continue to move this way. So more snow for everybody, except for us. When's the last time you saw a cloud or anything over here? Man, it's depressing. So there was a budget deal passed in the House last night, the Senate, but it's doubtful that the House will pass it. It's another thing that didn't make the news cut here on. It was like top of Drudge last night, and now it's gone. But the most significant thing about that budget deal is they were adding $200 billion, $400 billion over 2 years in the proposal. So everybody's getting all their little good programs, all that, good pork. And not my pork, pork barrel spending, as they call it in Washington, D.C. So that went down last night. But it increases spending, so there goes any type of fiscal responsibility. And I'm sure that would include that increased DoD spending, et cetera, et cetera. But will it pass the House is the question. They're saying there's a lot of issues with that. Add hundreds of billions of dollars to military and domestic programs over the next 2 years while raising the debt limit. We got to raise the debt limit because you can't pay for it. Of course, you're going into debt. Stupid. Nothing's changed. Making like it's something different. So raises caps by about $300 billion over 2 years. The limit on military spending increased by $80 billion in current fiscal year and $85 next year. Limit on non-defense spending increased by $63 billion this year, $68 billion next year. And we wonder why inflation is out of control. It's been raining where you are, huh, Barry? Every day, really. Wow, it's not showing up on the map hardly at all. Well, it seems like there's always a little green spot around Seattle and Washington at any given time. It's like Vancouver's island and everything's always got green roaming around it, so that probably rolls through during the day. So old Schumer and McConnell getting in that back room having a party, figuring out how they're going to screw everybody over and make it sound like they're the good guys. But Pelosi's already protesting it on the House floor because she's worried about her young felon illegal immigrants. I'm so sad for Nancy had to stand on the House floor yesterday. I'd heard about she was up there for all day, like speaking or whatever. So Trump threatened them to reorder the government with deep cuts to non-defense programs, and all of a sudden they come up with a deal with more money than you could ever think of. So problem, reaction, solution, right? control the brain dead by just giving them more money. Deal would give Mr. Trump military bragging rights. I mean, the bottom line is thank to President Trump, we can now have the strongest military we have ever had. I mean, it's like different levels of insanity. It's like, how do you compare your strongest military based upon dollar numbers? Dollars don't define it. A lot of that, most of that stuff, the most expensive stuff is equipment and research. Those troops get screwed half the time. When you look, especially like look at the current retirement boondoggle they're putting on the military with everybody joining now, their retirements aren't nearly as strong as it used to be. Could put it into the fiscal crisis if the House plays along, but it's not looking good. So this ends the sequester and gives Secretary Mattis what he needs. This is Trump's tweet as of yesterday afternoon. I'm sure this has all changed. Speaking of that, this is a little older. Let's see if we got a newer article concerning this. 3 hours ago, CNN. I really don't want to read CNN, but let's go with it. So this is the budget agreement in writing. I ain't got time for that. Sorry, folks, but it is on CNN if you got time. We're about halfway through here. Thanks for joining us out there in the side chat. If you got anything you want to bring up in your area, throw it out there. We'll discuss or otherwise. Here's some of the opposition article. There we go. Make sure you're checking out the cards in the top right corner of your screen and the little eye icon. Some other YouTube channels. If you feel so to go entertain yourself other places on YouTube, go check them out. If you check them out, if you end up commenting, tell them HTP sent you so that they know how much of a community we're building here on YouTube or have built, exists. A lot of people don't know who their friends are necessarily until you mention but go check them out. Oh, so it says Dow slides 200 points. So now we're back on the roller coaster down. Yay, wee. Crazy week. So the budget deal that was brought forward in the Senate faces opposition in both parties. I wonder if it's because it increases spending so much or raises the debt so much, or does it touch somebody's pet project? Everybody's going to have their own little excuse, I'm sure. So it's $300 billion extra over 2 years. Democratic Liberals and Tea Party forces both against the plan. So of course the debt is an issue with the Tea Party people. The Liberals probably, like we talked about Pelosi not getting her pet project illegals included in theirs, throwing a hissy fit. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, midnight tonight is the deadline, not midnight tomorrow night. if I read that correctly earlier in the week. $90 billion in disaster aid for Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico. Again, why don't we cut all that foreign aid to pay for some of that stuff? I'm sure that didn't happen. Hey, Jay Thornton, thanks for joining us. Good morning. Hope things are well down your side of the bayou down there. I don't know, maybe you don't live on the bayou, but you're down there in what we most would consider the deep south. We were just on the weather. I didn't see anything coming your way too drastically, unless I think there's been rain out in the Texas Gulf and Louisiana, so maybe that is hitting you. But you're not getting snow like M. Long every other day. So I guess we should all feel blessed. Even though we need snow out here, we told him we would take some for him. You ever notice when Democrats, quotes Chuck Schumer here, calling it a genuine breakthrough on this budget deal? You know, when Schumer and McConnell are agreeing on something, we're getting screwed so bad. It has to be a bad deal for us if this goes through. So this puts the government on track for the first $1 trillion plus deficit since Obama's first term. What are the odds? That was with the stimulus. So even with no stimulus package per se attached, we're going to be rolling up $1 trillion deficit. Awesome. So that budget deal should be getting debated today, either the Senate or the House. I don't see that it passed the Senate. The House is already against it, I guess. The House is trying to get together Democrats and Republicans to vote for it. The core of the agreement would shatter tight caps on defense and domestic programs funded by Congress each year. So again, those increases are mentioned. And remember, going off what the government usually does, baseline budgeting means they always increase spending every year, and they're going above and beyond that in this budget. So can't help but feel good about that, right? The government spending money it doesn't have to raise taxes and in the future on your wages and your grandchildren, their forms of livelihood in the future. Now have a lien, or they want to put a lien on them. They already have, to a drastic measure. 652 pages it takes to write all this junk down. $400 pages of health provisions are in this. Why is the federal government dealing with health? Is the word health in the Constitution? Maybe we should relook at that. Don't just call me crazy, but I don't think it's even in the Constitution. I know general welfare as a general statement's in there. That's about it. I don't think you can just do whatever you want. Congress is doing what it wants. Hey, good morning. Ready to snap? Thanks for joining us. We got about 5 minutes left, folks. Anybody wants to bring anything up? We kind of had a slow morning. We just talked about the Russians hacking our voting system, the weather, with all that snow coming. As we saw in the graphic there, the snow's covering the United States from Montana to Maine, as they say, 2,000 miles of snow. Everybody out west out here is looking at you like, when I say out west, I guess I say farther west than the Rockies. I was looking at it like, send us some. And the Wall Street is down 200 as it continues to go crazy because bonds are remaining high, probably almost at 2.9 on bonds. That's not going to go well. The market's not going to like that because it's too much competition. But thanks for joining us, everybody. M. Long, Pursuit of Happiness, their happiness, the pursuit of happiness from the Constitution, I see. Yeah, their happiness as they pursue their happiness to control people with the budgets. That's a pretty small minority of pursuing their happiness, I guess. $4 billion for construction of veterans hospitals, $6 billion to fight the opioid crisis and fund mental health, and $4 billion for college aid. Pretty detailed. $20 billion dedicated to infrastructure such as highways, bridge construction and repair, wastewater projects, rural broadband. Why is the federal government providing rural broadband? Oh, goodness. Not their business, right? Oh, I'm sure if we dug into this, well, obviously Rand Paul did a pretty good job of that. He does it every year for the Festivus thing and his grievances against the government. And he points out the misspending, misdeeds of hundreds of millions of dollars that are buried in there, not even going after the big ticket stuff. But again, he brought up that removing the funding for Pakistan alone would help pay for infrastructure in the United States. But nobody wanted anything of that deal because they like their little pet foreign aid projects and everything else to make themselves look like the good guy, I should say. So that's the top story on how you're getting screwed today. And again, we talked about jobless claims off the top. Everybody's saying the tax cuts should be fully in effect now. So if you were going to feel the effect, you should be feeling it this next paycheck or so. And everything else is junk, at least up here in the Drudge and on CNBC. The weather is the weather. I didn't see anything in the local news earlier. But I hope nobody in the side chat's got anything today. Usually somebody brings up at least one story. It must be a slow news day. Everybody's getting ready for the weekend, right? But go check out those channels up on the cards on the top right-hand corner of your screen here in the video. And go see if there's any other interesting things you like to view on the YouTube, some pretty entertaining channels. Just kind of depending on what you like. We'll keep them rotated day to day, video to video to share the love, if you will. Ready to snap? You've been sick and lurking on YouTube. Is that what you're saying? Lurking about on YouTube, or is that the same as trolling? Anybody got any big plans for the rest of the weekend? There's the weather impacting everybody too much to get anything accomplished. I got big plans, but most of them don't deal with work, fortunately. Trolling can be enjoyable for a laugh. That is true. Some people take it way too seriously when they get trolled. Instead of just laughing it off, they go high and to the right. So we could see a wild ride here on the markets again today, and that bond yield key indicator almost a 2.9. We've been warning about that for quite a while. The markets do not like that number going up. But really, folks, with no other comments, the Olympics start tonight, I guess. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Um, there was a story. The South Korean markets aren't going to stop serving dog. So if you're a visitor to South Korea and not indoctrinated, some people are going to be shocked to find dog being sold on the streets of South Korea as a delicacy. Might take some people aback. That would be an interesting cultural conflict. I'm sure the touchy-feely libs that go to the Olympics will be shocked. But that's just the way it is. Different parts of the world, like French eat horse. So I guess maybe we'll watch the Olympics tonight, this weekend. I really like the biathlon myself. That's the highlight of the Winter Olympics. Skiing and shooting combined. You can't beat it. That's what I say. So, with no other comments, I'm going to jet out of here, folks. Y'all have a good day. Stay warm and dry where you are. Live free.